Yeah, I love the whole core values thing. It's something that I've been harping on, and getting
Mm-hmm.
clear on what my personal core values are, what the core
Mm,
values of the gym are,
mm.
sharing that with people because that will attract the same kind of people, and
Yeah.
sticking to the guns of what my values are. And I
Mm.
read in this book, it's called Start with Why by Simon Sinek,
Ah.
genius. He basically talks about having those core values set, but sometimes what happens is people start to fade away
Mm.
from what those values are slowly but surely. It's called
Mm.
ethical fading, where
Interesting. Okay.
you will do something that's kind of off your value system, but you convince yourself that it's still okay, and the next thing you
Mm.
know, you're completely off center on what those values are, and you're operating in this way that is incoherent. And
Yeah. Yeah.
it's interesting to me. So I always try to get clear, and I write on my board like what my values are,
Mm.
what's the core values of the gym, and how are we expressing it. And it's part of like my kind of a little bit of my frustration is that I'm still trying to clearly express what those values are,
Mm.
and like how concise and specific those things are. So people
Mm-hmm.
can be, oh, okay, interesting. Yeah, we want to work out there at Underground. We want to work out with Danny.
Right.
And,
Right.
also too, like, how do I um, make copies of myself and share these values with other coaches,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So that they can be like, oh yeah, very, very, very good. I got it. Super simple. I'll embody those same core values, and
Right.
we can keep building a stronger community here through some
Mm.
of like whatever the mission statement of this gym is, which is to help people develop and actualize to their true potential physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. That's the
Oh,
overarching mission.
beautiful. Yeah.
And what are those core values? Hospitality, functional strength, unconventional training,
Mm.
breathing, getting clear on what your values are, right? Like that's a
Mm-hmm.
value. Like having strong values is a value. Anyway, I like this concept of talking about being whole and being at peace
Yeah.
versus hustle,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
So like there's the big like I guess um there is a shift people where people are interested in having a hustle and working
Mm-hmm.
hard, and harder is better, and more weight and more reps and longer
Mm.
hours, more clients, more days, right? There's this hustle, but
Yep.
at what cost to our peace, at what
Mm.
cost to feeling whole. So
Mm-hmm.
let's conclude maybe on everything that we've been talking about,
Sure.
where people are looking to have a hustle and be strong and get going after it, but also at the same time balancing it with feeling whole and being at peace. What are
Yeah.
some of your concluding thoughts with this structure?
Mm. So it kind of almost comes back to where we started, actually, which is neat. Um, and there's not a lot of people who have chosen their way into what they love and who are still working on that. So it's really about having a dream for yourself and knowing what your purpose is. So when we have a purpose in this world, and your purpose evolves over your
Yes.
lifetime,
Yes.
just as like we move through the archetypes, at one point you might not be ready to be a parent, and then that archetype calls to you. Like one of my brilliant friends, we're talking about motherhood, and she's like it's not something that makes sense ever. She's like, it is something that calls you. It's an
Mm.
archetype that says this is a part of your purpose, and this is something that you are meant to embody in this lifetime. So then we move accordingly in that way. And when we deeply listen, now it couples with creating peace in our life. So if we create elements of peace around our values and unshakable values, by